alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Mohamed AlShereef with moon sighting or moon fighting. I wanted to give you a principle that inshallah ta'ala during this time when the moon is sighted and people divide up with difference of opinions, I wanted to give you a little idea of where the difference of opinion comes from and give you a principle that will solve the whole issue for you. Yeah? Would you like that? Okay, let me tell you that the difference of opinion that happens when it comes to moon sighting is totally legitimate difference of opinion. It's legitimate. The hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, Sumu li ru'yatihi wa aftiru li ru'yatihi. The Prophet ﷺ said, fast when you sight the moon and break your fast when you sight the moon, meaning the end of Ramadan. Now the people that say that it should be a local sighting, meaning that we don't care what people around the world sight, it should be local. The Prophet ﷺ said, fast when you see the moon. So they're like, well, we didn't see the moon. We don't care what happened in Nigeria or what happened in Pakistan or what happened in Saudi Arabia. We need to see it in our locality. And they say we take it from the hadith. Another group of people say, no, there is a world sighting because the Prophet ﷺ said, sumu, which is plural, which means fast all of you when somebody sights it. So the people that say, no, whoever sights it in the world, then we all fast, then you got that opinion. They're following the same hadith. In fact, the words are like right beside each other. And then you got a third opinion, which is like the calculations type of opinion, because the Prophet ﷺ said at the end of this hadith that if it clouds over, then you should calculate it 30 days. So then the calculation people say, look, we know when the moon is going to be sighted by calculation long in advance, so let's just follow the calculation. And then you got a fourth opinion that isn't connected to this hadith, and that's the opinion that just says there's so much confusion going on, I'm just going to follow my country back home. Whenever they see the moon, I'm just going to follow it and bismillah. Okay, so you got these different opinions. Now, there was something that happened a couple of years ago that I found very sad. There was a young student of knowledge brother, and his mother was fasting on one day, the father's fasting on another day, and this boy is fasting on like a third day. The whole family is fasting on different days, and then when Eid comes along, the son's celebrating Eid one day, the parents are celebrating Eid one day. There's just kind of like this chaos, and I find that that doesn't have to be the case if you know this principle that I'm going to talk about. Okay, so how about this? You've known Mohamed AlShereef to give you angles on topics that you never expected. And I'm going to give you an angle on this topic that you just never expected. And here it is, okay? And actually, let me give you some background before this and put yourself in the seat of a just Muslim ruler, okay? You're the ruler of the land. Maybe there's this whole valley and you're ruler of this land. And it's Ramadan. Which of these four opinions are you going to take? Are you going to follow your back home country? Right? This is your home country. Are you going to follow local sighting? Are you going to follow world sighting? Are you going to follow calculations? Do you not realize that realistically, logically, the imam or the hakim, the ruler, the just Muslim ruler, has to choose one of the opinions? He has to pick one of the opinions, and they're all valid, they all have their proof, right? He has to choose one of those opinions. Now let's suppose this just Muslim ruler, yourself, chose opinion B, whatever opinion that is. He chose opinion B, and you're like, Bismillah, this is the moon sighting, tomorrow's fasting. Do you think, or do you not realize how much chaos could happen to the Muslim community in that village, in that valley, if people of valid opinion A or valid opinion C, if they come up and say, we disagree with you, O our ruler, O just Muslim ruler, therefore we will cause an uprising, and we will make sure that our masjid and our section of the city fasts on a different day. If you'll notice, that kind of attitude happens in Western countries or in places where you don't really have the Muslim ruler, people are just coming up. Okay, so now here's the principle. The principle is this: Hukmul Hakim yarfa'ul khilaf. That the ruling of the ruler raises the difference of opinion. I know you didn't understand what I just said, but I'm going to explain it, okay? Hukmul Hakim, that when the ruler decides something, if he makes a ruling, then the difference of opinion has come to an end. There is no more difference of opinion that is allowed to be publicly displayed like that. After that Muslim ruler has made that decision. But now it's in issues of ijtihad. If there's valid difference of opinion, the ruler has to implement something to move forward. So when the ruler decides something, then the community has to go forward with that. That's why when you see this moon sighting issue, you don't have problems on the moon sighting issues in Muslim countries. You don't have it because, if the government says, hey, you know what, tomorrow's Ramadan, okay, khalas, that's it. Tomorrow's Ramadan. The problem happens in areas where we don't really know who our Muslim ruler is. We don't really know who is the authority because, we've lost that khilafah, we've lost that Muslim ruler. We have a couple of Islamic centers in the West or whatever, but we don't really have that Muslim ruler. So the mistake is that people are falling back and they think the solution is that everybody rise up and become like a mufti on this one issue. And that's the problem. Back to the kid with the mother and father, and all three of them are fasting and breaking their fast on a different day. They made a big mistake there because they put themselves into the position of like a Muslim ruler or a mufti where they have to decide, is tomorrow fasting or not? What they should have done is, in the absence of the Muslim ruler, they should ask themselves, who represents the Muslim ruler for me in this country? Who represents the Muslim? Now, maybe you don't have a Muslim ruler in the country. How about in your city? Is there a central body of people who are looking to, sight the moon or not? Follow that central body. Maybe you don't even have a central body of a coalition of local imams and so on. If it breaks down to it, what about your local masajids? There might be 1, 2, 3 masjids in your area, and they kind of come together and they say, let's sight the moon together. What if you don't even have that? You just have one masjid and there's 5 families. Just follow the masjid. When they say that tomorrow's Ramadan, fast. And they say tomorrow's Eid, you just break your fast. Now somebody might say, well, what if I follow the local community and the local, basically as much as it can, they represent the Muslim ruler in absence of a Muslim ruler. What if I follow them and then it turns out, the rest of the country or something else is following on a different day? Now you're falling back you're trying to make yourself into a mufti. You're trying to put yourself into the Muslim ruler position in absence, okay? So now this is what I'm telling you, that the Prophet ﷺ said that, that as-sawm yawma tasumun, that the fasting, the day of fasting is the day the community fasts. Wal-fitru yawma tuftirun. And the day of fitr, the day of breaking fast, is the day that the people break their fast. So if you followed the community and you followed your ruler and you as much as you can to the best of your ability, and you've put your trust in those people of knowledge in a valid issue of ijtihad, it's a valid, there's valid difference of opinion, and they tried their best to move forward, then don't worry about it. From your position in your household, you just ask yourself, who is representing the Muslim ruler for me? Now let me give you some very clear examples for myself. I don't have a problem with the moon sighting issue because, somebody would ask me, what's my opinion on the moon sighting issue? I actually don't even have an opinion on the moon sighting issue. You know why? Because I place my trust in the people who have that position of authority in our community. So there will be a body, a coalition of imams and masajid in our city that go and sight the moon. I don't have a problem with the moon sighting issue anymore because it's whatever that coalition has decided to sight the moon or not. Sometimes I've noticed that there will be one masjid or one of the imams out of say, there's 15 imams in a community, and one of the imams will break off and say, no, you guys are wrong, I have a difference of opinion. You can have a difference of opinion, but you can't break the community on it. So now this person has a valid difference of opinion, that's fine. Maybe he feels that there is a bigger body that he's following the ruling. Anyways, in my case, I would say if there's 14 imams left and that's the majority of the community has fasted on this day and this is what they agreed to, as far as I'm concerned, I'm good to go. And I wish the same for you, inshallah ta'ala. No more of this, 3 people in the family breaking up, everybody trying to be a mufti. Take it from me. Just decide for yourself who is your ruler, who is representing your Muslim ruler in your locality, and then follow the decision that they may move forward with, inshallah ta'ala.